To learn about the off-grid lifestyle and to be inspired to live your dreams, click subscribe so you don't miss anything. Hit the bell notification. So, as you know, I've been getting firewood from this guy's house for the last 2 days. It's been a lot of work. You can see the size of this log. I don't know, maybe you can't see the scale of it. I'll put my hand up against it. I mean, and this was not a big one. There were some that were much bigger. And so I've been using the maul to split them. The reason is, well, two reasons really. One, they were so big, I couldn't get them onto the manual log splitter. Secondly, a lot of these were too long. So I would have to bring the chainsaw over to his house and cut them up and then put them on the splitter. And the splitter takes longer than the splitting maul. And I've been doing really good. I mean, this is not the entirety of the pile. Got a lot of it already stacked. Of course, I got all this partially split. That's what I split over the house. And then when I come back to this house, I split it up into smaller pieces. The smaller the piece, the faster it'll dry. Normally when I work with firewood, I do one day of firewood and then I take 2 days off. So every 3 days I cut firewood. It gives my body a chance to recover, especially the lower back. I mean, you're carrying logs that big, it gets to you, splitting and bending over with the chainsaw. Of course, I didn't use a chainsaw this time. But here I worked 2 solid days with firewood, loading the truck up, unloading the truck, splitting, and I'm really sore today. But that being said, I'm nearly 50 years old. I'm coming up on 50 this year. I know a lot of people are going to say, that's not old, but I can imagine there are a lot of people who are in their 50s that couldn't do this. And to be honest, last year I couldn't have done this. I was really out of shape last year. So I'm really proud of myself at how hard I worked yesterday. Well, yesterday specifically, because I had to split all that wood. I mean, I was tired and I'm sore today, but I was able to do it. So that was really a big accomplishment for me. So today I'm gonna take a little bit of a break and get back to the chicken coop here. I don't have much to do. I gotta close in the nesting box. I got some hinges so I can put a lid on it. I'll be able to hinge it. I've come up with several different ideas. I think I'm just gonna go back with the original idea and make a board frame and then put metal on it. Then I got 2 pieces of metal that are already cut, just ironically, perfect size to fit on the ends. I don't have to cut it. Cutting is a big deal because I got to run the generator to cut the metal with the circular saw. All the wood cut I can do with the battery operated circular saw, and I don't have to worry about getting it started and making all kinds of noise. And I don't know, it's just irritating, I think. And then I got to put the front door on, so I'll build a frame for that right here. I got 9 pieces of 2x2 left, and that's all this is it's 2x2. I'll take you inside now that's mostly closed in, and this would be really comfortable for them. So we have the grapevines all hung up, that way the chickens can roost on these grapevines. Then go into their nesting box. You'll see that I've got another couple pieces of metal to put, but they'll go into their nesting box. That's where they can lay their eggs. But they can't lay their eggs for 17 weeks, or they can't go into the nesting box for 17 weeks. I still got to put the hardware cloth on. Now again, hardware cloth is not a cloth. It's a metal screen. It's the best way to explain it. So I got to put that down on the floor. But I'm almost done. I just got a few more cuts of metal to do, and we'll be finished. We found some wheels on Amazon, 4 wheels for 50 bucks. I only need 2, but that'll leave me 2 more. So we'll put the back end on wheels and then we can roll it around the yard. It's important to understand that I do not intend to leave the chickens in here during the day. I keep getting chewed out by people. You can't do that, it'd be too hot. The metal's gonna be too hot. Well, first, the metal is supposed to be the coolest material there is because it reflects heat. But secondly, they're going to be out in the yard during the day eating and scratching and going around in their chicken run, which I've showed you several times. I built a PVC chicken run. But I got to get this finished pretty quick. The chickens are getting pretty big and they're going to need to come outside soon. So I can't keep dawdling on this. I got to get it done. Carolyn wants to take them out on the first warm night, say, you know, the 55, 60 degree warm night, and let them sit out here and get used to it. That way if something goes wrong while they're small and they're scared or whatever, we can take them back in, kind of let them get used to it over an extended period of time. But I'm really happy with this. Now, I've built one exactly like this before. And I had it way overloaded, I'll admit. I had chickens, and then we got a load of ducks for free, and we couldn't pass them up. And so until I got a coop built for the ducks, everybody slept in here for a while, and it did pretty good. I made that out of vinyl siding. I had a bunch of vinyl siding left over. But the only problem is obviously if the raccoons ever decided to get into it, that was in city limits, so the raccoons weren't too bad. But if they'd have gotten into it, it would have been easy for them to get into. The metal here, though, they're not going to be able to get into. This is real solid. I did not do this properly. I know I didn't do it properly. I put the screws in the valleys. That was okay on the tiny house. That's what you're supposed to do with the metal on the tiny house. But this type of metal, you're supposed to put it on the peaks, but I put it in the valleys. It doesn't matter because it's a flat roof and the water's going to accumulate, so I'm just going to silicone it anyways. That's been the plan. And so there's a seam here anyways, right here. I'm going to have to silicone that seam because it's a flat roof. I'm using a metal on a flat roof, and that's not the best idea, but for an extra $5, that's all the silicone costs. For an extra $5, it was easier for me to do it this way, cheaper to do it this way. Yeah, so I need to get busy and get started on making the frame for the nesting box lid, get that operational. Okay, so now I got the hinges on, so it hinges up. Now the next piece I'm going to put up underneath this piece, and it's going to come down over, it's going to come down, straight down, and then overlap this here. That way when the water comes down, it'll drain right on top of the roof and drain off. If I just went straight down, the water would fill in behind the door. So I, try to keep it dry in there for the chickens. I like the chickens. I don't want them to get wet. Okay, so try to explain what I did here. So the wall I got right here, I overlapped onto the door. Now, this does make the door more difficult to open. It's not real easy to open, but it keeps the water coming down onto the roof and not into the seam there. Now, you come into the center of the door, and it's a lot easier to open. You can open it pretty good. This will also help keep the predators out. Of course, I'm going to put a latch here so they can't get in, but if they were to have to get it open somehow, they would really fight to get that open. Okay, so I got the back side done now. So the nesting boxes are complete. I got latches here. A raccoon can get that, but they'd have to get both of them. And then they'd have to be able to overcome the pressure of that piece that I put over there. So it seems unlikely that a raccoon can get in here. Well, now I got to put the door on. That won't be hard. I just got to make a frame out of 2x2s and stick the door on. Now the door is going to open like a ramp. it'll come down and back up. That way the chickens can walk down off the ramp, because this will be a couple feet off the ground. So now to give you a look inside, this should give you an idea of what the nesting boxes would look like. So we have a 2-foot gap in between each nesting box. 2 chickens should be able to go into one net box. Okay, so this is the frame to my door. And so now you can see what's going to happen is it's going to come down, and then the chickens can walk down it. This is the metal piece that I'm going to put over the frame here. And so it'll just lift up, and at night, come down during the day, then go in and out as they please. Okay, so I got the door done now. So the only thing I got left, I got a little latch here on the door. Only thing I got left now is I got to put the hardware cloth on the floor. It turned out really nice. I like the way this worked. So I hope I can inspire you to create something for your dream. Thanks for watching.